I'm Elijah Matthews, 42 years old. Not too long ago, I walked away from a life I'd poured everything into: love, time, effort, and resources, only to discover it had all been built on shaky ground. For 4 years, I was devoted to Monica, my fiancée, and treated her teenage daughter, Talia, like my own. I didn't just date them, I stepped in as a provider, a protector, a constant in a life full of uncertainty. They had nothing when we met. Monica had recently finalized a draining divorce and was sleeping on her sister's couch. Talia was shy, angry, and unsure of the world. I offered them stability. I paid for everything: our rent, groceries, Talia's school fees, and even bought them a car, one they used more than I ever did. I did it all not for recognition, but because I believed in building something lasting with them. I saw a family where others might have seen a burden. My business, a commercial cleaning company I started a decade ago with just a used van, a mop, and grit, had become a steady success. No yachts or penthouses, but enough to live well and comfortably. Enough to make me proud of what I built from the ground up. Monica used to call me solid, the kind of man she could rely on, something she said she never had before. I believed her. I wanted to, but I was never the man she truly wanted. I was the man who paid the bills while she waited for someone else. I just didn't know it yet. The unraveling began on a Thursday night. I'd come home early, made chicken Alfredo, Talia's favorite. She was 17 then, sharp-tongued and growing more distant. That evening, she sat at the table scrolling her phone, visibly unimpressed. If my real dad were around, she muttered with a sneer, I'd have a new iPhone, not this cheap Android. He actually makes money, not like you, just a janitor. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. What hurt more than her dismissive tone was Monica's reaction, or lack of it. She sat there, silent, her eyes glued to her plate. No correction, no defense, just a soft, she's just being a teenager. As if that somehow made it okay. That was the moment I felt the floor shift beneath me. Everything I'd built, everything I'd given, was being measured against a title: janitor. As if the value of my love and loyalty could be reduced to a job label. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I simply nodded, and quietly, something inside me shut off. Over the next few days, I began to undo the life I'd funded. The car, in my name, I took back while they were out. The apartment lease, also under my name, I ended. The credit cards I paid off and closed. Utilities cut. I left them with the silence they had shown me that night. The phone calls came in waves. Monica, panicked and indignant. How could I leave them like that? Talia's voicemail was angrier. You'll regret this. My real dad would never abandon us. But I felt nothing. Their reaction wasn't about losing me. It was about losing what I gave. The truth was bitter but clear. They didn't love me, they loved the lifestyle I made possible. I spent the following months turning inward. I started therapy. I took a solo trip, my first real vacation in years. I rejoined my crew in the field and found comfort in the work that had saved me once before. Cleaning buildings late at night while the world slept gave me clarity. It reminded me of my strength. That's when I met Camille, a freelance graphic designer, warm and quick-witted. No children, no unresolved pasts dragging behind her. We met at a small business event. There was no instant whirlwind, no fairy tale spark, just something real: respect, curiosity, and a gentleness I hadn't known in years. Camille didn't care about what I did for a living. She cared about who I was. She saw me not a provider, not a fixer, just Elijah. We took things slow. We shared meals, long walks, talks about books, music, and life. No rush, no wait, just honesty. Then Monica resurfaced. She appeared at my office one Friday afternoon. Her eyes were swollen, mascara smeared, holding a crumpled letter in shaking hands. Elijah, she said, voice barely above a whisper. I'm sorry, everything's falling apart. The car's gone. We're months behind on rent. Talia's dropped out of school. I don't know what to do. I stayed still. She handed me the letter. It was a debt notice. She'd opened new credit lines in desperation, trying to cling to the life I'd once provided. She looked at me, searching my face for that familiar compassion. I thought you cared about us, she said softly. I did, I answered. But you cared about what I gave, not who I was. She blinked. Stunned, "You've changed." "No," I replied. "I just stopped letting people treat me like I was disposable." That evening, I had dinner with Camille. We talked and laughed without weight or pretense. In that moment, I realized I hadn't lost a family. I'd let go of a role I was never meant to fill. For a while, Monica disappeared. I thought she'd finally moved on. But people like her rarely walk away quietly, not when they've lost the person holding their world together. My sister Denise called next. "Elijah," she began hesitantly. Monica came by crying. "She's worried about Talia. Says she's not the same. Maybe you could talk to them." I asked one question. "Did she tell you what happened?" "She said you overreacted," Denise admitted after a pause. I laughed bitterly. "Her daughter called me a broke janitor to my face." Monica said nothing. "And I'm the one who overreacted." Denise went quiet. She wanted a wallet." I cut in. "Not a partner, not a father figure for her kid. Just someone to pay the bills." Then came my mother, calling out of the blue. Monica came to church. She said gently, "She looked lost." "She's always been good at that," I replied. "Elijah, don't be so harsh," my mother said. "Talia's acting out." Monica's struggling. "Did she tell you what her daughter said?" "What she didn't say. She made mistakes. My mom tried. Forgiveness isn't the same as forgetting." I said. "If she respected me, she would have shown it when it mattered." The final attempt came in the form of Monica's cousin, Jerome. He strolled into my office like he owned it, sat down, and said, "You walked out over a teenager mouthing off. A real man doesn't abandon his family over that." I leaned back, calm. "A real man leaves when he's being used. When the people he's breaking his back for treat him like an ATM with a mop." He scoffed. "You're heartless." "No," I said, standing. "I just finally found my backbone." Weeks passed, and then one rainy evening, I came home and found Talia sitting on my porch, hoodie up, eyes red. "I'm sorry," she said, "for what I said. I didn't mean it." I didn't respond at first. My dad said he'd send me a phone, and then vanished again. I was mad. "I took it out on you. You didn't deserve that." I finally spoke. "You didn't just say it. You believed it, and your mom's silenced that." "Hurt worse." She nodded slowly. "She told me you were too sensitive." "That's her story," I said. "And now she sent you to fix it." "No," she whispered. "She doesn't even know I'm here." There was a sincerity in her voice I hadn't heard before. "I miss how things were," she added. "You were the only steady person I ever had." I sighed. "Talia, I hope you figure things out. But I can't carry you or your mother anymore. I gave everything I had. It wasn't enough. I won't empty myself again." I walked inside, closed the door, and didn't look back. Today, Camille and I are still taking it slow. She respects my boundaries, my scars, my growth. She doesn't see me as a janitor or a savior, just a man trying to live right. The old me would have let guilt pull me back into that storm. But the man I am now knows better. Sometimes the ones who cry loudest for you are the same ones who never valued you when you were there. They called me a janitor, but I swept their chaos out of my life and never looked back.